Welcome back to the Terry and Jesse Show. To join the conversation, call 888-526-2151. Now, here's Terry and Jesse.
And Father Charles Murr joining us. Father, you're probably not aware that Jesse had a solution earlier this week. He gave some advice to Archbishop Gomez, who I'm going to read his letter, or at least a portion of it. Jess, why don't you summarize what you asked the Archbishop to do to stop these riots that are going on?
Well, again, I think there's a twofold solution, lay and clergy.
Yeah.
I already gave you the lay solution on the last segment.
Yeah.
I think all lay people, especially all the 5 million people, Catholics in Los Angeles County, Los Angeles Archdiocese, should do the sacred home enthronement consecration before this Saturday or on Saturday. That's what lay people should do. Archbishop Gomez is the spiritual patriarch of our country. And we know that sin and grace flows through patriarchy. This is why, sin flows into California through civil patriarchy, Gavin Newsom. Blessings can flow into a country through a good patriarch like Donald Trump. Civil and spiritual patriarchy, this is the way God brings grace into society. And this is the way also it leaves people vulnerable to sin if you got bad patriarchy. Well, who is the spiritual patriarch of Los Angeles? Archbishop Gomez. And so I would just, my suggestion, my humble opinion, Archbishop Gomez, he could do what St. Francis of Assisi did back in the 13th century. St. Francis of Assisi and his brother friar, his name was Brother Sylvester, servant of God, Brother Sylvester, who, by the way, was an exorcist. They walked into the city of Arezzo, Italy. The city was in fire. There were riots. There were people killing each other. The 13th century. St. Francis of Assisi actually says that he saw demons, he says, dancing around the walls of the city, rejoicing as people are rioting and killing each other and burning the city. St. Francis of Assisi and his brother Sylvester, the exorcist for the Franciscans at the time, they both began to pray. Brother Sylvester began doing prayers of deliverance. St. Francis began doing prayers of supplication. And guess what? The riots and all the senseless violence came to a stop. And the circle of demons that St. Francis saw around the city just left. So what I'm suggesting is that Archbishop Gomez, by virtue of his office, he's the chief exorcist of Los Angeles. Archbishop Gomez, I would recommend that he would go to the steps of the LA Cathedral, surround himself with a bunch of holy, pious lay people praying the rosary, the divine mercy, and other devotions. He should put on his vestments, make this liturgical, because there's power in liturgy. Demons understand the power of liturgy. He should take the Blessed Sacrament, our Lord, in the monstrance, raise it up over the city of Los Angeles, symbolically from the cathedral, and he should pray what Pope Leo XIII wrote over 100 years ago. It's the prayer. It's known as Exorcism Against Satan and the Fallen Angels. If you read the ritual on that, the commentary tells you that the bishop or the exorcist that prays chapter 3, Exorcism Against Satan and Fallen Angels, this has the ability to drive demons out of a location, a place, or a city. So I would just suggest to Archbishop Gomez to exercise his office as bishop, as chief exorcist of the Diocese of Los Angeles, and provide angelic air support to the Marines, LAPD, LA Sheriff, the National Guard, by doing this ritual from the cathedral. He could do it night after night until the violence stops, along with everybody in Los Angeles doing the Sacred Heart home enthronement of your own domestic church. I think if we did that, coupled with law enforcement and the military is doing it, I think we would stop the riot in no time flat.
Let me just share what the Archbishop gave to all the parishes in the Archdiocese. I was at a morning mass. He says, I am troubled by today's immigration enforcement raids in Los Angeles, and I am praying for our community. I pray tonight that everyone involved will exercise restraint and calm. We all agree that we don't want undocumented immigrants who are known terrorists or violent criminals in our communities. But there is no need for the government to carry out enforcement actions in a way that provokes fear and anxiety among the ordinary, hard-working immigrants and their families. That's just part of the letter. I want to just say this as a layman. Archbishop Gomez, I'm not a policeman, but we have bad guys out there, and we need to catch them for the good of everyone else. And to bring out the force I think there were 139 guys and girls that were arrested so far, and they were all very bad people. And if that's what it takes to get these bad people off our streets and out of our country, I don't have a problem using the military, using the police, using whatever means that are reasonable, which I think they are, to go in and get the bad guys. Because I think if you went and dialogued with them, because he's saying we need more dialogue, you really think a bad guy is going to say, well, Archbishop or the police, you want to talk to me about, I've been trafficking little girls and abusing them for 20 years. And I'm sorry. Well, let's just forget about it. You don't arrest me. No, you've got to use force because these are bad people. Jesse, if I'm wrong, correct me.
Archbishop Gomez sounds more like a politician than he does a prelate. Mm-hmm. Because if you read 2241 of the Catechism,
that's right.
It tells you that the Catholic Church teaches that all nations have the right to secure their borders. So he's not even following the teachings of the Catholic Church. He sounds more like a politician. And furthermore, the people that are being deported, Terry, these aren't the women that are flipping tortillas in a taco truck, or people that are cleaning a pool, people that are mowing the lawns. These are bad people.
Worst of the worst.
Trump has a hierarchy. First of all, we've got I don't know how many people Biden let in, 14, 15 million. For us to take everybody out that Biden allowed in, it's impossible. It would take, because I've heard Christy Nolan talk about this in Pam Bondi.
Right.
It would take 8,000 deportations a day. We're not even close to that.
Right.
For 4 years, 8,000 deportations a day for 4 years to deport everybody who's coming in unlawfully under Biden. That's never going to happen. That's why Prince's priority and Pam Bondi is to get the felons.
Exactly.
To get the ex-convicts, the gang members, the cartels. We're not even worried about the people flipping tacos. We're not worried about the people mowing lawns. I'm telling you, if they keep their nose clean, nothing will ever happen to them. They'll be here for the rest of their life. They are targeting the worst of the worst, and this is who Archbishop Gomez is defending. He's not. I don't know who's advising him, but that was a poorly worded document.
Yeah.
When I heard that remark by the Archbishop, my antenna went up. So somebody's not giving him the full truth on this. Yeah. And let me just say, to correct that a little bit, it's not President Trump and ICE and the government that's instilling fear in the populace. It's the anarchists who are instilling fear in the populace.
Good point.
It's the people who are screaming this and the other thing. That's all. Look, you want to? I was in Mexico for 14 years, and I know my stuff. We were there at the beginning of the narco era, and I saw what it did. It ruined Mexico, decimated Mexico, terribly. They're still suffering from that. But here's the deal. What we have to look at is this. When Mexico needs these Mexicans back in Mexico. Mm-hmm. And why do I say that? Because every time that the pressure builds up inside Mexico for a change, for a real revolution, to get rid of the Freemasons and put a government that's democratic in, it's like a pressure cooker. Yeah. The pressure is taken off and they're sent to the United States with the greatest facility. And then there is no pressure on the government again. This goes on constantly. They should stay there and actually pressure the government to collapse.
I agree.
Their governments are so corrupt. That's not going to happen if we keep providing an escape for these people. Also, it's very simple to find the culprits that we're after.
Yeah.
Those are the people who have money and don't work. Don't start looking at people who are flipping tacos and this and the other. They're working.
Yep.
They're working. Look at the people who have money and are not working, because they're the smugglers. They are the vermin that's carrying so much moral disease into the country.
Father, and I can tell you this, that the average Mexican in Mexico, they live in fear, kind of like the battered wife syndrome, just like a good pious Muslim lives in fear in Islamic countries from terrorist organizations. Good pious Mexicans, they live in fear in Mexico. They keep their mouth shut because they know that Mexico is right now a narco state, and they don't want to cross these guys and have their head cut off.
Yep.
Harry, it's the narcos who permitted this woman to be president of Mexico.
Yeah.
There were 40, imagine this, 40 candidates for the presidency of Mexico. And before the election, 38 of them were massacred, were killed.
Does that tell you something? That tells you everything.
Right?
Yeah.
The people who would go along with the narcos, they were permitted to be in the elections.
Yeah.
2 of them.
That's the type of system down there. Wow. And I can appreciate why they'd want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly it.
Bad. It's bad.
And again, so my point is this is a two-pronged approach. We need the law enforcement, military, and we need Catholic prayer, air support. We got to be praying and send our angels over Los Angeles so they can support the good men that are trying to bring order and civility back to Los Angeles.